benefited hundreds of real estates throughout the Southeast. Kristy's personal experiences in delivering excellent service and growing her real estate business from just 6 transactions in her first year have inspired and equipped real estate agents with scalable solutions that work in any environment, from one-to-ones to small group coaching to classroom settings and main stage presentations. She's a realtor with Village Real Estate Services in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are so excited to have her here to talk to you today. And she is doing a session that I think all of us in this room could benefit from, and it is called Why Your Leads Are Not Calling You Back. So as soon as we get her presentation up, I'd like to welcome Kristy to come on up.
We're going to get started, and I guess while we're working on that, I'll just tell you a little bit. When I want to get up a few disclaimers, because we're all realtors and disclaimers are important, okay? So my first disclaimer is I'm using the word leads. Now, I know different people feel different ways about that, right? You know, should they be leads? Should they be customers, potential clients? Should they be customers, clients, soon to be, hey, I mean all of that in the word leads, okay? They are people. So we're all on the same page, but I couldn't say all of that on the first slide. It would have just been way too much, okay? My other disclaimer for you guys is when I say leads, when we're talking about this, I mean leads that come to you from your own website, right? Leads that come from third-party IDX, which might be your Realtor.com, your Trulias, your Zillows, other third parties. I also like to think of leads from sign calls. I think of leads from sign calls. I think of leads from open houses. So one of the ways that I tried to break down my business when we were doing this is we were trying to look for ways to run a business like a portfolio. So in my mind, leads are a part of my business, just like buyers and sellers. Buyers are broken down into like referrals, people I actually, worked with in the past clients. Listings are the same way. Did I get that listing because it was a referral, because of farming, because of whatever? And so in a part of that portfolio, leads is a part of the business, okay? So that was my original thought with that. All right. Hey. Okay, so we're going to talk about 5 reasons your leads aren't calling you back. I've given you my disclaimers and how to fix it, okay? How to fix it. When we're going through here, I don't know if all 5 of these will resonate with you, but I guarantee maybe one will. Here's my first reason. We have a failure to commit to a CRM. I'm telling you, it's everywhere. It's in Nashville, it's here, it's everywhere, okay? There's so many to choose from. I get that. It's hard to decide. But that's one of the reasons why our leads aren't calling us back. And why is that? Because we have not developed a system for what happens when the lead comes in. Not one that's consistent, because we're always changing our mind about which database we're going to use. So here's my thing. You got to pick one. Just pick one, okay? I'm not talking about long-term marriage, but at least 6 months. And say, I'm going to just do my best with this one for 6 months. I've already paid for it. You used to back in the day, and I don't know if they still do this now, they used to do contracts where if you signed up with one provider, you had to stay with them for 12 months. It was like a long-term commitment. Now there are some that won't even make you do a contract at all. It's just like you'll try it free for 30 days and you can decide. Okay. Realtors, we're going to pick one. We're going to stick with it, and we're going to find out how to best use it, okay? How to utilize it. Most of the time when I'm talking to an agent, they say, you know what, I've tried this one. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And then all of a sudden, they listen to a webinar. They go to a class like this one. They go somewhere, and all of a sudden, oh, squirrel. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. It's like, oh, look at that. This is what I've been needing. I would be able to take my lead conversion to the next level if I just, yes, no. Okay? And I get that. So I tell agents that I work with, I'm like, okay, great. Use the database you got for at least 6 months. Things that you find out that it's not doing well for you, make a list of those things, okay? So that way you have a running idea of what you'd like it to have. That way, when you heard that great webinar, when you went to that great conference and you saw those booths out there and you got all excited about doing that 30-day free sign-up, you said, you know what, if this doesn't meet those 6 things that I really want in my database to do, we're not going to take the time to sign up for it. And why? Because it takes time. Every database that you switch to takes time to load the CSV file in the way that they want it. Not all of them communicate together. You got notes in this one that don't go to that one. So, hey, look, it's just, we all All right, I hammered it enough. Next, I've decided that please don't call us back because in our mentality, we don't want to be known as salespeople. Has anybody seen this movie, the Glengarry Ross film? Okay, right? That's where you hear those lines where people say things like, ABC, always be closing. You know, coffee's for closers, right? The guy comes in, the top car lot salesman comes in, and he's looking at all these other salesmen. He's like, you guys stink. You can't sell anything. Coffee's for closers. In our mind, we think that the salesperson is this, like, sleazy, trying to manipulate you to do something that you really didn't want to do. You made me buy this car, that kind of thing. And what I want to tell you is we are all salespeople. And is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I don't think so. I read a book called To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. Anybody ever read that one? It's a great book, okay? In this book, he talks about how everybody is a salesman, from your doctor to your attorney to the wonderful person you met at the Kroger. Everybody, even if you have a team or not, if you have a team, everybody on that team with you, they're a salesperson, from the person that answers the phone all the way down to when they actually start doing that deal with you one-on-one and looking for those houses. So if you have a mindset that says, you know what, I don't want to be a salesperson. I just want people to call me if they really want to work with me. I get that. We all want that. But in order to kind of help get that along, you really want to get into that mindset that you're a salesperson. Second part of that, who's doing whom a favor? Seth Godin had a blog once. Called, not the once, like he stopped, right? He blogs all the time. Okay, sorry. He had a blog, and in that blog, he talked about the 3 types of thoughts when people have transactions. So that first one is, there's somebody who thinks, I'm doing you a favor. A lot of time when I talk to salespeople about leads, they think, the agent thinks they're doing the person a favor by calling them back. Okay, no. Then he says, there's a part that says, you're doing me a favor. Now, a lot of times, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, and then the last one is, this is a favorless transaction. I'm still on mindset about being a salesperson. If that consumer can go anywhere they want to go to fill out their correct information, meaning correct email, correct phone number, they could have done that anywhere. First mindset says, if they did it on my site, they're doing me a favor, right? I know Maura teaches a great class called the Nordstrom Effect, and it's that whole idea that if a person comes in, I got to treat that person with respect, that they're doing me a favor. I always tell people a boutique story, because I'm a woman and we shop, okay? So I'm sorry, guys. Just work with me on this one. Okay, so if you go into a boutique, and I own the boutique, okay? And someone's coming in. 3 ladies come in, 3 men, whoever. They come in. One of them is only window shopping. One of them is thinking about buying in the future. She has an event that she wants to go to maybe in 6 months, so she's doing some research, okay? The third person has a party to go to that night. These things exist, right? Those are 3 real scenarios. If I own the boutique and I'm working behind the cash register, how do I know which is which? I don't. I have to treat them all with the same level of curiosity, right? So this is what happens when you go in the store. A good salesperson comes up to you and says, hey, how are you doing today? Can I help you find something? Right? Question. She says, no, I'm just looking. Okay, great. The other person says, well, I do have this event coming up, engaging them, asking those questions. As a realtor, it's my job when that person comes in for me to figure out where they're going, not for them to tell me, I think when we put that in retrospect, it kind of helps us to think when those leads come in, it's my job. Look, they just came into my boutique. Let me figure out what they need. All right. Reason number 3, misunderstanding the buyer's needs and timing. And just know that I'm using buyers right now for leads, but, and I'll get to this. Oh, no, NAR in 2013 put out that sellers and buyers profile, right? In that profile, they talk about buyers and sellers. They talk about how many times a buyer looks at a home and how long is the home search. Well, a lot of times, number 1, every buyer who's coming online as a lead to look for houses may have a house to sell, right? So I'm calling them buyers, but I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And again, I'm going to say something to ladies. If I want to go buy a new house, I have got to do my research because I've got to show my husband why we need to move again, right? I got to be like prepared with a list, an arsenal. So a lot of times, a lot of ladies you see shopping online looking for houses, it's not that they just need to have a house to buy. They need to have a house to sell. So number one, go into the mentality that when that lead comes in, they might be looking for a house to buy, but that might be Kristy. She might be trying to prepare her arsenal because I have to show my husband a list of the 10 houses we could buy for the same money for a larger square feet, okay? So, and misunderstanding the buyer's needs and timing, I always tell my agents, take your realtor hat off for a second. Put your consumer hat on. Now, I have, as a consumer, a Zillow app, a Trulia app. I've got your website apps, of course. I've got everybody's individual website app. I'm going on your website. I'm filling out my information. And all I'm doing is trying to get more information about this house. And I happen to do it on 12 different sites, 2 different apps. And I even did one of those little text things on the signs going by at somebody's house. Do I really know that 12 or 15 agents are going to call me like within 30 minutes? Because we've been harping on that as realtors, right? When that lead comes in, you need to be the first person on the call, first 5 minutes, first 30 minutes. So this is what my diagram is here. That poor guy or girl, she's like, wait a minute. I was just trying to get more information about these houses. I know I went on 12 sites, but I didn't know that 30 people were going to call me, right? And then all of a sudden, so this person is just total disillusionment. They just say, I'm not answering any more calls. These people are crazy. They're wild, okay? Now I'm putting my agent hat back on. I've called this person. They stopped answering the phone because, remember, they're just in shock. They're like, I don't know what's going on. I need to put my number on the do not call list, right? So they don't call me back. I've left a voicemail. They don't call me back. The agent, I feel like, why didn't they call me back? They only called one time, and I never call again. I said, you know what? These leads are useless. These leads are worthless. They don't even want to commit to one person. I'm not even going to waste my time with them, right? Truth be told, that person is just in shock, and they may need a day or two to get over it. So when we have that time, all right, so let's imagine that when we called, they actually picked up somehow, in a miracle. We were the first person in this race. That's not something I was good at in school, I'll tell you. I'm not a fast runner. But let's say I'm the first one that calls, and they actually pick up the phone. And one of the things that we're talking about of understanding their needs and timing is we have to get to a point where we're asking those questions. Remember, like the boutique I was saying, hey, thanks so much for coming into my boutique today. How can I help you, right? So we'll talk about that qualifying later and to understand their needs and timing. Oh, also on here I wanted to say, on that 2013 NAR study, they mentioned that the average homeowner looks for a house for how long right now? Anybody know? It said 12 weeks, okay? Now, we're going to get into a little bit later qualifying, right, which is next. But they said 12 weeks. So when we're saying this person is coming into our boutique, our first thing to figure out is how long have they been on this home search? Maybe they just started at week 1. Maybe they're at week 10. Now, this is my reason number 4. The lost art of shh. Now, I like to call this person, I know it's a woman, but it could be any of us. We're realtors, and we talk a lot. I mean, I know I'm teaching right now, but I'm just saying in general. Like, I guess. We talk a lot, okay? So this is what, and I know you guys don't do this, but let me tell you what some of the agents that I work with do sometime. The lead comes in via email, right? And they say, and some of them are pretty vague. Can you tell me more about 123 Main Street, right? They're just nothing spectacular. They leave a phone number. They leave an email address. Some agents, none of you guys, email this person right away with a 3-paragraph bio about how awesome they are. Oh, my gosh. Just picture this girl. She's going on. She's like, hey, I'm Kristy. I am a top producer. I love that she said that because what agent do you meet that says they're not a top producer? It's like, I'm like, hi, I'm Kristy. I'm not really a top producer. I'm doing my best, you know. Like, nobody says that. Everybody says they're a top producer, right? So, anyway, she's on this email. It's like 3 paragraphs long about how awesome I am, how long I've been in real estate, why they should want to choose me, why, you know, just on and on and on and on and on. Now, I might be dating myself, but how many of you guys remember when I was in school, they used to, when we were talking a lot, the teacher would go like this. Does anybody remember that? I say that to people, and they're like, what? I'm like, was I in weird school? I must have been, like, in weird camp. But, like, when we used to be in school, the teacher would be like, shh. I don't know. It was like peace and be quiet. It was just like peace, you know. So sometimes when we're going through and we have that urge, it's that realtor urge to tell people how great we are, that ego, but like, let me give you this bio, man. You need to be working with me. Just picture me. No, stop, okay? The same thing like on a phone call. The person says, oh, hello, this is Kristy with Village Real Estate. Thanks so much for calling about that house or emailing me about that house on 123 Main Street. What questions can I answer for you? Oh, yeah. I was just wondering, what's the price? Let me tell you. This is an amazing house. It has hardwood floors. It has, it's so spacious. It has great schools. Let me tell you about the schools because the seller said, it's just on and on and on. What we want to do when we're getting into that is what I like to call a roadmap to success. Remember, it's that whole boutique experience. So when I'm calling a person or when I email a person, it's not my goal to tell them how wonderful and great and awesome that I am. I have to prove that over time through building rapport with them over having a conversation. So one way to do that, I like to think of it really is scripts. But people don't like that word, I found. People don't like those scripts word. So I call it a roadmap. But I'm telling you guys, that still means scripts, okay? This is a more fluffy word for scripts to make agents feel better about it. So when you're having this call with a person or when you're sending out this email, let's go to email first. When you're thinking about it, one of the main things that you want to do is you want to verify information. You want to keep it short on email. I tell my agents only like 3 lines, and you always end it with a question. So, for example, if the email came in and it said, I'd like more information about 123 Main Street. Rule number 1, when I'm sending the email, because maybe they didn't have a phone number, I say, hey, or not hey, but whatever your greeting is. Hey, thanks so much for visiting us on, you always source the site for where they got your information from. Because remember, the consumer, they've gone on like 45 different sites. They don't exactly remember who you are because in most cases, our pictures and stuff aren't there. They just remember the house. Are you the one with the house with the blue door? Or, hello, I'm Kristy. I'm the top agent. She's like, no. Is this the house with the blue door and the shutters? Okay. So we always cite the source. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by our website at whateveritis.com. You had said that you wanted more information about 123 Main Street. What questions about that house can I answer for you that you don't already know? Question mark. It doesn't matter what your question is. It just matters that your reply back to them, if they don't have a phone number, okay? If they don't have a phone number and it's just an email address, it's a short, sweet email back that ends with a question because in most cases, unless a person is just rude, they will answer your question back, okay? Even if it's just, no, thank you. Oh, I've already got that information. Or what I was wondering was, right, so getting a little more specific. Now, if that person has an email address and a phone number when that lead comes in, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a fan of the cop-out. So you can't email them first. If they've given you a real phone number, you got to call them. And I tell people, it's like semi-warm. It's not even a cold call. It's not like you went through the phone book and found them. It's a semi-warm call. They gave you their phone number. So you're going to call them, and you're going to go down this roadmap, okay? You're going to verify their information. Before I ever tell any consumer about whatever it is they were calling to find out, I go ahead and say, let me verify your information, okay? So while I'm looking that up, is this your cell phone number that I just called you on? Because I want to know, is this their cell phone number? Is this their work number? Is this their home number? Whatever. Or, and then I just want to kind of make my way through this roadmap. So I hope you got that down because I got to wrap it up. I'm going too long. But, and then another question I want you to think about is one of the things we always want to go through as realtors is asking a person, hey, have you already been pre-approved? I'm telling you, just like a roadblock to communication, okay? So one of the things I say sometimes is, oh, great, have you already worked out your financing or are you paying cash? That way I'm not insulting them if they are paying cash, and it's just an easier way to talk about it. All right, lastly, no consistent follow-up. Y'all know this. I told you before, we call the person the one time they didn't pick up because they're in shock. We don't call them again. Statistics say you need to call that person 6 times. 6. So either you call, like 3 personal calls, 3 personal emails before you ever put them on a drip campaign. That's the easy thing to do is put them on a drip campaign. But I want you to try to reach out to that person 6 times. I know. But I'm saying you got to reach out to them 6 times before you put them on a drip campaign, okay? And then lastly, commit to that CRM. Be an amazing salesperson. Understand the customer's needs and timing. Ask more questions, stop talking and listen, and then follow up with every customer a minimum of 6 times. You'll see your conversion rate double at least. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Kristy.